Just explain a bit about what Mezzi is. What's the problem you're solving for here?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on, Josh. Appreciate it. I had my first experiences with a financial advisor working on Wall Street, and I walked into the advisor's office, and there was no conversation about retirement planning or avoiding taxes or what are my financial goals. The conversation very quickly proceeded to me ending up in a proprietary managed fund that proceeded to underperform the market over the next 12 months. And that problem, that experience, I've had multiple times working with financial advisors. And frankly, that's what I see with a lot of the customers that we speak to, is that they are not getting the holistic advice across all of their assets that they're looking for. And so that's why we're building Mezzi. We are an AI fiduciary financial advisor registered with the SEC to provide you with holistic advice for tax, retirement, and asset allocation.
Things get rocky, it's volatile, you've got questions. I always like the idea that I can give him a quick call and his team a quick call, right? They're very receptive, get right back to you. There's that sort of human element, and I'm just wondering how do you think through that?
Sure. There are some folks out there that really value the human element, and they get a really good experience. The vast majority of people, in my opinion, don't get the type of on-demand experience that they're looking for when it comes to working with a traditional financial advisor. Most advisors are not available 24/7, and they certainly can't keep the memory of all of your conversations with them stored and updating constantly. And I think that's what the value of AI brings to the table.
AI does make mistakes, right? Errors, hallucinations. How do you make sure, Manish, it's not giving bad financial advice? And if it does give bad advice, who's accountable?
One of the steps that Mezzi does is we take in all of this data, and then we have to go to work really normalizing it and making sure that we account for the deficiencies in LLMs. And one of them is math. Large language models are actually not very good at math. So we put a ton of investment into accuracy, into cleansing the data, to normalizing the data so that your exposure to tech is actually your exposure to tech. And then beyond that, when we are providing personalized fiduciary financial advice, we are doing that with a deterministic system, a logic-based system to really take into account and avoid hallucinations. And so it's a bit of a different, we handle it from architecture and from infrastructure perspective.